So my name is Dan. You call me Dan, DTM, Dan Flores. I've been a working artist for the last 20 years. I started my career like everybody else, just drawing. I'm interested in art. I'm interested in creativity and trying things out. The pencil is my first love, and it's the first thing that everybody gets a hold of that's very common, besides crayons and stuff that that as a kid, as a baby, but as a person who started growing and going to school and doing different things, the pencils, number two pencils are everywhere. Paper is everywhere. So that was my thing. And so by the time I got to be older and out of high school, realized that there were artists getting paid for their work. It's like, wait a minute, cartoons are made by artists, comics are made by artists, and they get paid for it. So I want to get paid for it too. And so that is where I then decided that I wanted to be one of those artists. I want to be an artist. I want to be a person who does the artwork and gets paid to do it. I don't want to have a job like most normal people that clock in and clock out. I've been a cook. I've been a dishwasher. I've been a forklift driver. I was in the Marine Corps. I've been a landscaper. I've been a bricklayer. I've done a ton of jobs that are just manual labor, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not where my passion was. My passion is art and drawing. And drawing specifically is what I really like to do, just draw. So I always had this joke that if you give me a big warehouse where there's a big door that you bring in a pallet of paper on one side, and then another door where you bring in a pallet of pencils on the other, I'll be happy. Feed me once a day, I'm good to go, right? That's always been my joke, and I've actually made that possible and true in my life, where I actually have a studio space, half of it is a warehouse. There is a ton of art materials. I do have a ton of canvases and things that I get to play with and enjoy and produce work that gets paid, that I get paid for. So that's me, that's my life. Find me anywhere at Delta Tango Mike. I want you to check out iTunes, YouTube, or IG and Twitter for Art is King. And at any time that we have meetups and classes, I always post them on artistking.org/events. In the last 20 years, I started doing art for tattoos. I got into tattooing. I enjoyed it. It's like drawing on skin. Then my brother-in-law, he was just my coworker and friend in those days. He's my brother-in-law now. He taught me how to paint. I always hated using a brush to paint on canvas. It was just not my thing until he showed me how. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then as time went on, the internet became a thing. Started building websites and doing graphic design. This is the 90s. I was doing a lot of graphic design. By then, I kept hearing about Photoshop and Illustrator. So around 2001, I started playing with Photoshop and Illustrator. By 2002, I was getting my artwork printed on shirts because I had a tattoo shop and we were designing them and getting them made. By 2006, 2005, I got tired of doing tattoos and everybody asking me for the same thing. And so I decided that I was going to shut it down. And so my brother-in-law, he went to work at a shop, and I went home to LA and got away from people because what I wanted to do, I was really burnt out on having to do what people were asking me to do. I really wanted to work on the stuff that I wanted to work on. So that's when I decided that I was going to go back to pencil drawing and focus on my art only. So right now I have a few portfolio books of just pencil drawings, and they look amazing. I was like, dang, I really put down the time to get back into the thing that I really enjoyed. And as time went on, I still have customers who come to me from the tattoos. I still have customers who come to me for graphic design. I still have customers who come to me for web design. So I slowly developed that business again, but organized it in a way that now today it allows me to work on a particular project depending on the day of the week, depending on what week we're talking about, depending on what's going on in my schedule. And as an example is, this month of June, I have 2 solid weeks of summer camp with my wife where we run Buttercup STEAM. And it's a STEAM camp. It's a camp for girls to learn how to do robotics and coding. Then I have a mural project that I'm working on in at Atlanta Underground, and that'll be later on this month. It has to be completed by the 24th. So I will be out there for 4 days, sweating in the sun, painting outdoors. I have a mobile game that I'm finishing up with a company. So I'm working on digital illustrations and backgrounds that they have to put into the game and test and see if they work. Then I'm working on a mural design that I'm not going to paint the mural, but I'm going to design the mural that is 220 feet long and 90 feet high. And so that's just some of the projects that come to my mind that I have to finish in June. I love it. I love it. And my tattoo customers are going to have to wait because I'm already out of dates for June to do tattoos. So I enjoy the art life, and I have it structured in a way that allows me to work on different types of projects at any given time so that I don't burn out on that one thing. Because it's really hard to stay focused when you don't have the emotion attached to it anymore, which is the reason why we started drawing in the first place. Right. So that's why we're here. I want to show you how my process has helped me develop my clientele to the point that I have these kind of different projects. And you don't have to be interested in different types of projects. All you have to care about today is, well, how do I get this one thing that I want to do with myself and my career and my passion to work for me? And that's what it's about. Okay? Cool. And if anybody has any questions, please say so. We are on Facebook. Everything is live. I can see you. If you click like, if you're watching, if you leave a comment. All right, this is DTM. So right now I'm working on my surface. I really like it, and I enjoy drawing on my surface. And this is an app called Sketchable. So you're going to see me flip through some of these layers to get to what I'm here to say today. So besides Artist King, I want to talk about the very beginning, about what it is that we're doing as artists and what has helped me, all right? And let me see if I have another page for this. No, not yet. Okay, cool. So let me talk about myself real quick. So I come from East LA. I was born and raised in East LA. And it's a very tough, hardcore town. And so hardcore that you'll get beat up just by being there. But if you have that mean mug all the time, people will not mess with you. It depends on your size too, right? So when I'm more skinny, you get easily get picked on, but the bigger I got, the less I get picked on. And so so it's an attitude, it's a look of attitude and acting. And so in my life, because I came from that tough place, and I had to either show off that mean look to get people to leave me alone, or constantly fight people all the time. And I got tired of fighting. I'm not a they say fight or flight, and I don't like running, so I had to learn how to fight. And in that process, I decided I didn't want to fight anymore, so I just looked mean and answered people mean. So this attitude became part of my life. Then my mother, she sold a lot of Tupperware, and Avon, so for people who want to smell good and so on. And I kept hearing her how to pitch and talk about her products that it makes sales, and because she would take us with her. My brother and I have a brother who's a year and a half younger than me, so we were little kids just sitting in the corner. Because back in those days, you get slapped in the face by your mom. And so we're sitting in the corner and we're listening to her talk, and everything is being recorded. So then as time went on and I decided that I wanted to be an artist, I took my attitude and the pitching into my art. And so this is my story right here. And that I want you to take into account into yourself. Before you even jump onto social media, before you even jump out into your talent, into your creativity, you have to have the attitude that if somebody has done it before, then you can do it too. That's it. There are comic book artists out there living off their comic book art. Animators living off their talent. Publishers, writers, photographers, all types of people. There's an architect who sat here and drew this place up. Interior designers who worked on this. So as long as you know that somebody out there has done it, your attitude needs to be that you can do it too. All right, number one. And that means you have to build that self-confidence in your abilities. And if you don't have abilities, then you need to have self-confidence in your ability to learn. You have to have confidence in that you're able to produce. And that's where 20 years ago, so what are we now, 2018? So it was really 2001, when I jumped onto Photoshop and Illustrator, when I didn't know anything about it. I did not know how to draw. I did not know anything about vector. I didn't know how to draw in Photoshop. I didn't know how to do graphic design. But I had heard so much about it, and I was already good at drawing on paper that I said, well, that's the next step. Let me try that out. And so what I did was, and this is before Google and YouTube, I had to read a bunch of books. I read books, big, thick, fat books on Photoshop, on Illustrator. Magazines, I was buying magazines and going through tutorials and spending nights just working on it by myself. I did not know art schools were a thing. I did not know art groups and meetups were a thing. I was just trying it out. And then it so happened that one time I had this software called nobody uses it anymore. Quark Express. And so a friend of mine, he's in the music business, and I've been doing some websites and album covers for him. And one day he called me and says, hey, we need a album booklet. Back in the day, we used to sell CDs, and they came in little jewel boxes, and some of those CDs had booklets. And so he says, hey, we need this booklet, 24-page booklet. We need it next week. Can you do it? And then my birthday was coming up like in a day or two. And I was about to take off for my whole birthday weekend. And I was like, no. And so I said, yeah, I can do it. I said, and so I came up with a big number. I said, but it'll cost you $2,100. And I need to get paid first before I start. And if you want it done. He said, okay, I'll get you a check tonight. I'm like, oh, now I got to do the work. Well, I got in touch with the people who were going to print the booklet. And I found out that they needed the files to be in Quark Express. And all I knew how to do was Photoshop and InDesign. And I did have Quark Express, I just never used it. And so that night, I spent the night learning Quark Express. I have a confidence in my abilities to learn. No matter what we're talking about, no matter what software, and you mentioned some software earlier, and even though I'm not going to try to do the stuff that you do, I'm interested in hearing out names of software like, ooh, I didn't know that existed. So the first thing I'm going to do is look it up. Oh, there's a free trial. Let me play with that. I am confident in my abilities, and you have to feel confident in your abilities. No matter what situation you're walking into, you have to feel like maybe I don't know this now, but if I hear enough about it, I'll go home and learn it. And nowadays, we have a ton of YouTube videos on everything. So it's impossible for you not to know something now. Now, there's always the imposter syndrome that comes over anybody, and that's anybody at any level, always. And I feel it. 20 years later, I still feel it sometimes. Like, ooh, I'm not as talented as some of the people here. I don't know what they know, But I'm gonna have the attitude. I'm gonna act my attitude and feel my confidence that I at least figure it out by the time I come back the next time. I have to. Because that cannot be the thing that's going to shut me down. My dream is too strong for those things to stop me. You have to feel this confidence. You have to feel this power. And that's where it goes into my next screen. Trust your power. Sorry about these drawings. I just drew them earlier before we started today. But you have to trust your power. You have to believe that you have the power, and that's going to come across your social media. That's going to come across the way you talk about yourself. That's going to come across the way you pitch your work and describe your work and what it's for. If you don't believe in your power, if you don't believe and trust in your talent, then it's going to be very hard for someone else to trust it and believe it. That's it. Nobody's going to want to give you money. No, it's like, why? It has to come out. When I step into a room First words is, hey, how you doing? I'm Dan. Hey, how you doing? I'm Dan. I haven't given you any stickers yet today, but I will before you leave. Because sometimes when I walk in the room, I'm just handing out stickers. Hey, I'm Dan. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. And then by the end of the night, everybody knows me. And I met everybody. I don't know what anybody does. I didn't ask. I don't care. They know who I am. I walk out the event, and everybody knows me. And then they keep a sticker. And then next time they need an artist, like, wait a minute, there was some guy who gave me a sticker. He's an artist. Let's find his info. You got to trust your power. You got to trust yourself. And now we move on to what does that mean for social media? All right. I'm a motivational speaker right now. All right, this is the path. This is the example of our work. Yep, that's the fact. Trust your power. Thank you, Craig C. So this is where we all are as artists. Creatives, photographers, writers, anybody. I don't care who you are, what you do. This is the crowd. This is everybody. All right, and I mentioned this to y'all earlier, but I'm going to break down my example of how I figured this out. Is that in a room full of people who have the same level of talent, who are all alike, let's say, let's for the sake of this example, we're all artists and we all can draw. Number 2 pencil and paper. We're all good at drawing eyes. We're all good at drawing lips. We're all good at drawing hands. All of us are just the same level, everybody. When you look into that crowd, you're looking for someone to stand out. And if everybody's the same, then we need to look at the next thing that we can judge everybody by. And a lot of times, the next thing we can judge everybody by is some have a portfolio. That's it. So the first thing I would do if I was a client and I walk into a room full of like, everybody in here is the same, then me as a client would be like, all right, if anybody has your portfolio with you right now, either physically printed or on your phone or on your tablet, stand up. And if you don't have it, get out. So you just got rid of half the people automatically. And when I was in my early days, I walk around with a backpack. I still have a backpack. And I'd have my portfolio. I'd have my current drawings. I'd have drawings that I want to draw, sketches, and a bunch of stuff. My bag's always been heavy. Paper has never been light. And nowadays we have tablets and I still not carry two, an iPad and a Surface. So it's always been heavy. I'm always ready to talk about my work and show you. Part of that attitude came from not going to college. I did not go to college. I did not take art classes. So I don't have any degrees and certificates. I don't have that. All I have is proof. I don't care what your paper says. Here's my art. I can show it to you. So right away, those that have portfolio, size got smaller, right? So then as a client, what I would say is like, who can pitch me your artwork right now? Who has a pitch? If you can pitch me your work, step up and the rest get out. So now we got less people, right? There's less now. So then if I still see some people like, dang, all right, well, who are ready to negotiate? Who can tell me your price? Who can tell me how long it takes you to do a particular job? What's your turnaround times? How much deposit do you need? What kind of sort of payments we're going to make as you're working on this project? Some projects take weeks, some projects take days. If you're ready to discuss those things and you know your terms, if you have terms, let's talk. Then that's a whole lot less people. You see that? Little by little, we're getting to those who are ready to run a business. And that's what we have to keep in mind. Where are we and what do we need to do to get to that level? And this is very important. So then the one who has the discipline to knock out the artwork and work as a professional is the one who's going to get the gig. And if by mistake they get somebody who is not ready because they say fake it till you make it, right? And then some people forget to actually make it once they want to stop faking once they actually made it. They forget to stop faking it, and so then you hear about a project that didn't happen because of something. Some undisciplined artist and somebody who's unreliable. And that's why we get that artists, we all have, people have this idea that artists are undisciplined and don't know, they're emotional, they can't finish a job, so they're unreliable. And so if by any chance they get somebody who was not ready, then they call the next artist. And they call the next artist. And then somewhere, if you're the one who knows how to handle your projects, you know how to handle and work on time and finish your projects the way you say you were going to finish it, then that person is going to start talking about you. To the next person, to the next person, to the point where...
One step above.
Right.
Do extra on top of it.
That's right. And then there's the money. That's that one, like Neo, the Matrix, I know I'm all tired. That's the one. That's it. Now, why is this all important? Part of it has to do with your attitude and how you're going to build up to be that kind of artist. But the second part is, I can tell you how you're going to get 1,000 people to follow you. I can tell you how you're going to get 100 people to throw money at you. But if you don't know how to negotiate, if you don't know what are your terms for turning out an illustration or a project, then it doesn't matter. They're going to walk off. And they're not going to have any business. So you need to have those foundations in place or start working on them or start looking them up. And I have a little bit of entrepreneurial talk that we can discuss at the end. All right, so let's go to my other screens. Oh yeah, believe in yourself. I think I had 2 of those. Believe in yourself and trust your power. All right, so now we're going to get into the social media thing. All right, there are 2 circles in life. And you have to find a way to make those circles work for you. All right, here's circle 1. This one is important. They're both important. Circle of trust. Who remembers Meet the Parents? And right? And so in the second movie, how Greg, what did he do? He lied about something, and then of course Robert De Niro's character got mad, and the next morning Greg had this piece of paper that said Circle of Trust, and then the little dot that said Greg, right? Okay. That's today's customer. That's the customer right now. That circle of trust is the customer. They don't know you. They don't trust you. Who are you? And so if you're promoting yourself and telling the world, hey, buy my art. Hey, this artwork is good. Or hey, I need to pay the rent. Somebody help me. They don't know you. You're like a person at the gas station asking for change. And that person's just trying to pump their gas and like, no, get away from me. I don't know you. Don't talk to me. So we have to find a way to build that trust with the customer so that you're not outside that circle of trust, you're inside. Now, how do we do that? With the second circle. And it looks like this. Second circle looks like this, like a rainbow. And now I need my notes because now we're going to get to the real deal. If you thought...
You had 2 circles first. I just looked at it. On your slides,
I had 2 circles, that's right. And those are the 2 circles. One is the trust, and the other one is on your there we go. And there we go. All right. So here we go. Let's get to this. Make sure people can see me a little bit. All right, good. So we understand the circle of trust. Let's turn that down. Because this circle is how you're going to build the community to get into that circle of trust.
You have to open yourself up to people, learn from other people.
Yeah.
They can help you out, and you can help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all we have is social media. So how do we use social media for that? That's what we're here to learn. Yeah, part of it is in real life. Part of it is actually coming out like today, right? And so if next time an artist says something to me, hey Dan, I need to talk to you, when can we sit down and talk? I'll be like, well, you can come to the free stuff, or you can pay me money, and then you have your own consultation. Because I don't know you. I'm going to charge you, right? Unless you come so many times, they're like, hey, wait a minute, I think you're smart, you're trying to learn, let's sit down and talk. I got some advice for you. So that is community, being out in the community, getting to know who are the artists out here, going out to art shows and exhibits, Getting to know the artists who put the work together. Get to know the curators. That's right. Just throw somebody a sticker. Say, hey, I'm an artist too. Check that out. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. Just here's a sticker. Yes, you have to start building community, and then go in and help out. Because I'm gonna put a call out for volunteers for this mural. I'm not gonna be the only one getting sunburn out there painting, you know. But those who come and help me now, I know. Okay, this talk. You are willing to put in the work in this community. Let's talk about how that community can help you now. You understand? So yeah, it's real life stuff. But we're gonna focus on social media. So social media is this big circle right here, the big red one. Let's see if I can move it because I need room. I need room to draw. So let's get rid of that one. Let's get this one. Go here and put it on this side. Yeah, here we go. I love Sketchable, all right? Everybody get Sketchable. All right, so the red part. Let's focus on the red part. That's the outside, very outside of the circle. Now this is your circle, all right? The first circle is the community, the customer, the client, right? Why do they care about you? Now is our circle, the circle of you as a creative person who has something to sell, something to build. All right, so the red circle, the very first one is social media, all the internet, the whole internet. And we're talking about YouTube, Facebook, yes, Instagram, and Twitter. And I guess Twitter is the same as Instagram with the heart. And then
Instagram is merging with YouTube and I think some other companies.
Okay. So right now we're just gonna focus. We're gonna focus on what we're gonna do, what our job is to do. Whatever happens in the world, something else. All right. So now in this landscape of the internet, you're out there, you're here. Come on. You're right there. And in here, in this side, the very middle, is the money, is your artwork, and you want money for it, right? You want money for your artwork. It's down here. There it is. That's you. But before people get to you, you got all this outside, this access. And one thing to keep in mind is that social media is called social media, but it's really it's called those things because it started as a social thing, right? To connect with people. And then it became a media because now you're consuming that. And so newspapers, television, cable, that's media. Movies, those are media. They consume that. They're telling you something, a message, a story, whatever. And so then social media became a media because of how we're consuming different things. And now we're not just consuming the content that we all created, but those created by companies. So now it's a form of a medium of sending those messages and advertising and so on. So now that's why it's called social media. So your job as an artist is to engage. So we call it, well, it's first number one to gain followers. Well, actually, is to actually set up your profile. For those people who say, I'm not on Facebook, I'm like, why not? 1 billion people are on Facebook. If you were looking for clients who like what you're making, that's the one place to find them. 1 billion people. You cannot spend one day in real life, 24 hours, and see a billion people, ever. But you can go on Facebook, join a Facebook group that's dealing with something in particular that you're into, and you already joined up with 5,000 to 6,000 people, just like that. Where else is there? It's impossible. It doesn't work like that. All right, let's see what's going on here. Instagram. Okay. So now, when we look at this, let's see. Here we go. I'm double checking that the stream is still happening. So the first step is followers. Right after set up the profile, we need followers, right? We need an audience. You need to start building an audience. You need to start building people. People need to know who you are, because there's 3 steps. There's a lot of steps to get to the money. You have a product here. That's your product. Let's pretend it's some artwork. And on this side, you have the customer with the money. So how do you get them to connect? And that's what we're trying to find out. How do we get them to connect? So number 1 is by setting up your profile and starting to build followers. Those followers are going to be interested into what you do. And so now there's all types of different followers and people who like engaging in different ways. Some people like watching videos. Some people like reading articles. Some people like just seeing a picture. And that's why we have these different kinds of things. We have people who just want to see a picture on Instagram. We have people who want to see a post on Twitter with the picture, or a post with several pictures, or just a video that plays all the way through. Let me double check who this is, because they just called 3 times. This is Dan. Okay, so that's when because people consume things in different ways, that then it makes it real difficult for us to find the kind of people who are going to like what you have to provide, unless you shape your content to fit those kind of different ways. Now, here's one thing that happens a lot. We spend a lot of time creating the artwork. Let's say it's a comic or something. Yes, that's step 1. Now you have to spend a lot of time building the business, paperwork. And now you have to spend a lot of time advertising. And that's the social media stuff. You're not going to live your life and just do the creative only. Even I don't do that.
What you're offering, make it clear as well.
Correct, right. So when it comes to my artwork, even though I just don't want to be bothered, I just want the art to come through, I still have to create some kind of interaction with the world to get them to see what's happening.
Yeah. What's in it for them?
Right. Not just that, but how do they know I exist? If you open a store next to the Publix, you can get everybody who likes to eat and cook, right? Great. But if you open a store somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing around to attract people, and you're the only attraction, how are they going to know you're there? So that's where we have to build out these followers and get to the point where they know you have something to offer, and that is when you start engaging. You can have thousands and thousands of followers, or you can have 10, 15. What matters is the engagement. How are we engaging? Do you respond to posts on your Instagram when somebody says something? Do you respond on Facebook? Do you share on Facebook on the groups and then respond to somebody else's post? You have to engage, and you have to engage back to those that engage with you, because now they're telling you, I'm paying attention. You got it. You got the follower. Now you got somebody paying attention. So what are you going to do about it? You need to start talking to them. Let me text this person. Sorry. All right, here we go. That's done. So now comes the next thing. What happens to the day when Facebook shuts down? Because there's been a bunch of scams, right? Sort of. Oh, they sold your data, somebody sold it, whatever, right? MySpace, anybody was ever on MySpace? Who was on MySpace? Us older folks. When's the last time you logged into MySpace? Do they even have an app? Oh, they do. Right? It ended. So if you had 1 million connections or 100,000 connections, how you gonna talk to them? And then just because you log back into Facebook, don't mean they're gonna log in and see your message. So after we start building this setup online, what's next? Now we need to set up our own website. Let me write it in a different way because that's ugly.
There's lots of podcasts and information that help with that kind of stuff. I think there's applications that help you design, like Facebook and
And not only are there applications on a website could be your Tumblr, a website could be your blog spot, a website could be a ton of different things. Your Behance.
Well, I mean, just Instagram. You
It
can
could be. That's right. Sure. But there are some things that your website needs to have in order for it to function for you. And even though there's many ways many definitions of what website is that then it comes down to, well, what is the website doing for you? So here's where, Jesus. All right, so here's what the website's supposed to do. Number one thing, it should sell while you're sleeping. So if you know how to talk about your business yourself, if I was to stand you up right here and tell us, which kind of went around the room, right? And they say, just stand up here and sell us on what you're doing. Oh, I do comics, I have characters, they're original characters, and they have cool stories, and I'm an awesome writer and an awesome artist. All right, show us. Okay, cool. Here's one, and here's two. Awesome, great. That what you just did, your website should do too. Because why should you repeat yourself in every room in this building, every business, and every condo, when you say, hey, go to the website and you'll see that stuff I'm talking about? That's one. Number two, it validates what you're saying. If you introduce yourself to somebody and you hand them a card, and you start telling them about what you do, what's going on, and you have a pitch, and they might be nice, like, okay, that's great, that's awesome, and then when you walk away, what I would do, a lot of times you look at the card, like, okay, that's their website, let's see what's on there. And then it will validate exactly that what you just said is exactly what you're talking about. So that's number one, right? It pitches, validates. But I mentioned that what happens when Facebook goes down and dies, Instagram. Yeah, that's you. Then what you want is a web form, email. Email form to take in people's email addresses. So now you build your own list of people who are telling you that they're interested in what you have to offer. They actually told you that they like what you have to offer because they left their email address on your website. It's not just people who say they want to be your friends on Facebook and connections, and every time you post something, they don't hit like.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the people who follow you on Instagram. It's like, oh, that's cool. He posted one thing I like. And maybe next time we're just going to keep scrolling. Now, these are people who said, see, they're moving into the circle. These are people who said, hey, yeah, I'll take a special offer. Yes, I'll take a wallpaper for my phone of your artwork, of what you're doing. Right? So these are people who told you that. These are the same people who, if you send them a special order that, hey, we're only doing a print of 100, get it now, and it starts with the people on my email list. And you got 100 people on your email list, well, that's 100 customers. Could be, you could sell that. That's why that's important. That's why a website, that's why we need a destination. We need somewhere where people go to. The pitch could be your portfolio, and that also validates who you are. So now these people are getting closer and closer to you. On your website, you will have a blog. You will have a way where you break down what you do and why you do it. Social media is beyond just Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Social media means that you're using the medium to tell the world something to bring him in. To bring him in towards the money. So the blog is going to break down a title of your piece. What is the piece? Why did you do that piece? How does that matter to the world? What were my steps to make this piece? How many drawings and sketches and illustrations did I have to do to make this piece? And then bam, okay, well here's the whole piece. You understand? Now, why does that matter? Because in a room full of people, those who can talk about themselves, move on up. And if you're an artist who don't know why you draw, don't know why you create, don't know why you're doing this, then nobody else knows either. If everybody here knows how to draw Mickey Mouse and they're asking for people, for Disney's asking for people who can draw Mickey Mouse, you got it. But if Netflix says we need original creations and all you know is how to draw Mickey Mouse, they're not going to pick you. You're not going to have that gig. So you have to be able to work on how expressing what you're doing, have a process. If when a customer reaches out to me and a customer starts telling me about the project that they want, what kind of art they want, if it's a logo, if it's an illustration, I say, great, I love it. Here's my price. Here's how much it costs. And here is the page to my process. So that now you know what working with me, what my terms are. And then the customer can say, well, that seems complicated, I don't want to deal with you. Or they can say, whoa, that dude knows what he's doing. I don't have to know how to work with an artist because he already knows how to work with people. You get it? Now that puts you in a whole different position. Now you sound smart. Now you sound like you're about your business. Now you sound like you know what you're talking about. That's where the blog comes into play. So every day you're on Facebook, Instagram, and so on, and you may post every day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if you're like me. But on my blog, I'm posting 1 day a week. And I'm collecting the stuff that I'm saying here, I'm collecting on what I did that week. If I worked on a mural, that goes on my blog. If I worked on that mobile game, that goes on my blog. On my social media is my daily stuff. I sketched out the character today. Here's a picture. I worked on, I had a meeting with the mural people. I was in downtown Atlanta and walking around looking at the columns I'm going to paint. Take a picture, that goes on social media, right? The day that I finish my columns and I'm finished with my murals, I'm going on Facebook Live, talking about, hey, here they are, check it out. Come out to downtown, see my mural. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to explain my process and why I do it. I'm telling the world and having the world see what I'm working on and why I work on it. But at the end of the day, when they come to my website, they'll be able to read about it and see the in-progress pictures. And I have a ton of them. I want to show you this now. Should have had it ready, but I just thought of it. On my blog, on my website, Delta Tango Mike, last year, I did as a matter of fact, it's in here, collections. I did a art installation for Art Based on Lyrics. And every few years I do one. Maybe it's kind of close. And so at the end of the project, I made a page for it. Come on, internet. I know you're slow because we're streaming from the same machine. There we go, ABL. And so what did I put on this blog page? And not only did I make it a blog page, I used that page to make it a web page so that I have a link to it from my regular menu. So here it goes. There's going to be a picture here, but I talk about, it's a video. It's a video, it's actually a frame lapse video of the whole process, because I recorded the whole thing when we worked on the mural. And there I am, drawing on it, and so on. So I talk about what it is, what's the theme here, why am I doing it. Then here's the samples of my current work that leads into this. Then here goes some sketches of the actual installation of how I started to work on my idea. Not only did I want to work on my idea before I actually paint it, I needed to get it approved because they're going to pay me for it. Then I keep talking about it, explaining more about it, and then pictures of the progress, all the things that were going on, all the people who worked on it, because I have interns, and then a picture with that's the curator and that's the business manager. So he finds the money, he finds the artist. And I know these guys for 15 years. Then the actual event, the night of the event. Not only was I at the event with my wall, that's me and my wife, I also painted live. And the event was at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And there's a bunch of us artists. And then I captured some of the Instagram posts of other people posing at my wall. So when somebody asks me, Dan, what do you do? Hey, I do 2D art installations, digital and traditional. Show me your work. There you go. Well, how much does it cost? Good question. Glad you asked. Come on in. Because now we're talking about how I'm going to get paid. So that's how you use the blog. If you're a writer, then you write about what it is that you're the writing, what's it that you're trying to say. Or you can write about your writing process to get to what you're trying to say. But you're going to have to use your website to keep telling the story that you want to tell. That is the one place in the world where nobody can lie on you. That's it. The internet can lie on you. The friends and people and bad business partners can lie on you. But not your website. Why would your website say stuff that's not true? Unless you put it there. And you wouldn't do that. That's where that one place they're talking good about you. All right, let me get back to here. Let me see that we're still good. All right. So that's how you start getting closer and closer to the money. Because now people are starting to get closer and tighter to you. Now they're really admiring your work. Now they're getting to know you. Now we're getting into that circle of trust. Now when somebody says to me, Dan, we need a mural here, can you do it? I say, yes, I can do it. And I'm confident because I've done it. I'm confident because others have done it before. I can do it. I've done the work. And then they say, well, can you show us some sample of what you've done? Yeah, it's right there on my website. Pay me. And now that it gets done. Because I have proof that I've been able to do it and knock it out and finish it. So now we're getting closer and closer. All right, the next step now is going to be the online, the stuff you're selling. Now, what are you selling? What is it that you have to sell? Let's go with the green. This is now about sales. So the closer people get, the more money you start making. It comes to the point where now these people follow you. They love what you do. They love you for who you are. And now they'll buy anything you put out. Doesn't matter. I buy art from artists who I like. It's like, cool, you made another comic book. Let's get it. Maybe I read it later, maybe I don't. I don't even know what the comic book is about. But you're such a cool dude. He's a cool artist. He's a cool person. Let's do it. I'll spend $20 on you. And if they get 1,000 people to spend $20 on them, they make $20,000. And now the next 6 months, when they have another project, then you spend another $20. And that's when you have to get into that practice of constantly turning out work. That's why you have to get into the practice of posting ever so often. But that's because that's what you were going to do anyway. That's the life you want to live. Nobody's forcing you to post every day or every other day or once a week, but you say you want to be a working artist. So you should be cranking out work. When people come to me and tell me they want to be an artist, the first thing I ask is like, let me see your work. And I don't want to see work last month or last year. I want to see the work you worked on this past month. What you've been doing. What did you do before you came here? Let me see it. So then that lets me know, well, you already want to have that job. And it's hard to have a regular job and an art job, but that's exactly what has to happen. You have to produce, share, engage, and now, as you're starting to get closer to the money, you start to teach. And this is where YouTube comes into play. Because you're producing this work, whatever it is, you should record yourself talking about how you produce this work. How do you put this stuff together? It may seem mundane and simple to you. It may seem a no-brainer to you, but there are people right behind you who want to be who you are, or want to do the work that you're doing. There are people looking for artists and searching on YouTube, how do I draw a head? How do I draw fingers? And you did 5 tutorials on that without really trying, just because you were drawing and posting what you were doing. Now you're starting to teach. See, now you're slowly getting from the regular artist level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And this is one of the reasons why I teach. For years I've been teaching. And so when people are looking for artists, they say artists in ATL, DTM comes up. When they say muralist in ATL, DTM comes up. I want to learn Photoshop. DTM comes up. Because I'm just throwing it out there and sharing everything I do. And I'm going to sit down and draw anyway, so why won't I record it? Let's do it. Who knows? I may get a student out of it. I may get a client out of it. I started doing murals a few years ago. And I don't know if it was a mural that I did first or was it a chalk mural. I think I did an actual mural. And so one of the first murals that I did, I convinced a friend of mine who had a music studio to let me paint on his wall. And I was really broke. But I didn't tell him I was broke. I just told him, hey, we should have a mural here. He said, let's do it. I said, look, I'll do it for free. You just pay for the paint. He said, okay, how much? And I told him a price for the paint. And of course, I didn't need to buy paint because I already had paint. So that was my money that I kept for myself. But I went ahead and did the painting. I painted on the wall for 2 days. But I posted the video process. I did a frame blast on it. I took a bunch of pictures of in progress, and I made it a big deal on social media. I did not know there were people paying attention to me, following me, because I got like 6,000 followers. That's not a whole lot on Instagram, right? But it's not the number of followers, it's the quality of those followers. Because then I get a call from one of the people who are following me, who's the owner of a company, national company, who's the #1 company that sells toilets in the United States. And they said, we need you to do 4 murals for us. I said, sure, great. I went, visited the space, saw the space, looked at it, started writing out my notes, and then I sent him an estimate, and he said, okay, we're going to find you the check. He didn't haggle me. He didn't sit there and say, damn, that's too much, you're crazy. He didn't say, but really? Because it only should take you like 20 minutes. No. He said, cool, we're going to get you that check. And I knocked out those 4 murals in 2 weeks. And it happened to be the month right before I went on vacation with my wife to LA. So they paid me my balance before I actually left. We were rich that vacation time. It all started a long time ago when I first did the first mural, but I made sure I documented it. I made sure I created content for it so that those who were paying attention to me, because like I said earlier, I meet people on the street to events and I say, hey, I'm Dan, here's my sticker. Hey, I'm Dan, here's my sticker. And next thing you know, they're following me. I don't know who they are. I might have talked to them a little bit, maybe I didn't. I don't care. But if they start paying attention to me and the work that I do, they might find something that they need and they want, and they happen to have the money to pay for it and not worry about whether is it right or wrong, is it cheap or expensive. That's just my story. All right, let's see what else I got to go over now. All right, now that you've got people in here on your website, now we have the store. And when you have that store on your website, that's when you start making the money. And not live close to it. You can have a store now. You don't have to wait. You can have the store now, but why would they buy from you if you're not in their circle of trust? They don't know who you are. They don't care. If you draw Dragon Ball Z, and there's 1,000 other artists who draw Dragon Ball Z, they're going to find one they like, and that's it, and buy that. But if they know you, and they like you, and you draw Dragon Ball Z, then you're getting all their money. A month ago, I did a contest with Adobe. I actually won a 12-month subscription with Adobe Creative Cloud, which they have already given me a few months before a different subscription. So anyways, I ended up with 2 because I just do crazy stuff, artwork, and then I tag them, and they like me, and I do stuff. Anyways, there was a mermaid contest because it was the month of May, mermaid. And I saw it, and I was in LA because I was hanging out with my mom, and I saw it. Adobe said that they had a contest, like, maybe I enter. Then they said, we're giving away an iPad. It's like, well, I want the iPad. So I said, fine, I'll draw. You got me. So I have a Samsung Note 5, and because I wanted the iPad, I did not want to draw on my iPad because then they'd be like, well, Dan already has it, so why are we going to give it to him, right? So I drew on my Note, which has, of course, a stylus, and then you can draw on the screen and so on, but it's real little. So I was like, yeah. So anyways, I sat down. I was in LA and with my mother chilling. And so for 3 nights, I sat there and drew a mermaid. And I just like drawing people anyway, so it's just really like a person with a fishtail, all right? And so I drew it, and I kept posting in-progress shots daily. For 3 days, I posted in-progress shots to Twitter and tagged Adobe. Adobe Drawing, I think that's the tag, the profile. Then the contest ended on the 15th, and so on the 14th, the day before, I was already done, and I tagged them. I said official entry, and I posted a bunch of shots of the same piece, but just like close-up, so you can see the detail and so on. And I tagged all the people who supposed to, because Kyle, forgot his name, he created a bunch of brushes for Photoshop, and he was one of the people who was supposed to be tagged, blah, blah, blah. Then next 2 days, I didn't think about it, and then I saw the post that they said congratulations. Adobe said congratulations, you're one of the winners. And at first I was happy, and I was like, man, they said one of the winners. So then I kept looking, and they actually gave the grand prize to another artist. And she's awesome, she's talented. So I was like, man, I lost to somebody. But I actually made it. So they gave me a 12-month subscription. I didn't get the iPad, I wanted the iPad. But they gave me a subscription. I'm like, why not? Well, that's cool. 3 evenings, a subscription is $50 a month. That's $6,000. I mean, $600 worth. I'll go with that. I'll take that. We're drawing. Wait a minute, but here's the point of the story. That night, the night before I finished it, I posted it on Facebook. One of my connections on Facebook, whom I've known for over 10 years, and I haven't seen her in like 10 years, she says, my daughter loves that mermaid. I need a print. I said, okay, let me finish it tomorrow and I'll post it so you can buy it. She said, okay. The next day I finished it, posted it up on Society 6, put the link so that she could see it, and she bought it that night. I print. Then, I'm just playing around. A week later, I drew another mermaid. Now, not for the contest, just for the hell of it. And then she saw it when I posted it, and I said to her, I was wondering if you were going to see this. And then I put the link to the Society 6, where you can buy the print, and she bought a print. And now she commissioned me to do her whole family, her 3 daughters, sons, daughters, I forget, and her husband and her as a family portrait as mermaids. I don't know, does that sound like something you want in your life? Yes, yes, post, draw, this is what I do, right? I draw, when I get paid to draw, I post my process, I post some of the things that I do, I get people to start liking my work and start liking me, and then when I post something, and I put it on my store, they buy it. And that's my life. And that's how I made social media work for me. Sometimes I do get caught up, and I get stuck on following this link and that link, and who said what, and you're scrolling. That's what it's meant to do, and they got you. But if you focus on, well, what kind of schedule can I keep so that I can post every other day? Listen, you eat every day. Hopefully you bathe every day. You sleep every day. You know, there are things that you're used to doing every day. And it takes you a few minutes to take a picture of your desk when you're working and drawing something. A couple of shots from the back, and then close up, put it on Instagram, say, hey, yep, working on a new project, not getting any sleep because the creativity is just driving me crazy. Here's a link to my website, #, done, posted. And the people who follow those hashtags, because now you can follow hashtags on Instagram, it will show up in their feed and they don't even have to know you. And the more they see your work, they'll be like, dang, she really putting it out there. She's really hardcore. Dang, not only can she draw random bosses, she can draw her own stuff. I wonder if she's gonna have a project. Let me click on through her profile, see the links that she has in her profile. Let me see where else she's online. Because when I'm on Twitter, I want to see what else she's talking about. And if she has a video of her process, even if it's speed painting, like if you speed it up, and you can see her drawing digitally, I'm like, that's great. I love that drawing. When is it going to be out? And maybe I leave a message like, hey, is that poster available? Or maybe from an artist, be like, what software was that? Can you give me a class? You understand? How then that just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And the way you make money, 3 steps or 2 circles or whatever, is either by selling the art that you're creating, and that's and that can be the originals, and if we work digitally, then it's going to be prints and merchandise, or sharing the knowledge that you have to get others to then trust you and pay you for that knowledge.